Here we go. All right, so we've only got a few more to talk about. Our next photographer that we're going to talk about here is Muybridge. Edward. This guy looks super grumpy. He's old. Edward Muybridge was born in 1830, died in 1904. So this is one of the oldest photographers that we're going to be studying. He's known as the father of motion, the study of motion. Now again, 1830. There weren't a lot of cameras around at that time. It was really being invented. So his photos, again, were the study of motion. Everyone had seen a horse gallop, but he was the first one to want to know how. So his series of photos are incredibly influential on our knowledge of how animals and how humans actually moved. He used incredibly fast shutter speed in order to capture the motion. And for decades later, his photography was used by doctors, by scientists, to expand their knowledge of physiology, anatomy, muscles. So that was his kind of focus. Just this one series about grasping with your hands. It was important for scientists and for doctors to understand how the inner muscles worked. This one's kind of cool. You can actually see the bird has a little leash right here. On some of the photos, you can kind of make it out so it doesn't fly away. So you could take pictures of the wings as it was moving. Before him, nobody really did that. So that is Edward Muybridge. Now, the next couple of photographers, I'm not going to tell you anything about. I want you to try and figure out their styles. Louis Hine. Louis, H-I-N-E. Louis Hine. Now, we're going to look at some of his photos. And again, I want you to try to tell me what he was concerned with.
Child labor.
Yeah. Again, so much about photography and art is telling a story. And his focus was on the fact that he didn't agree with the rest of the world. How children weren't really children. How they grew up way too fast, even faster than you guys. So that is Louis Hine. Again, H-I-N-E. Now this, Bob. We got Bob Martin. Bob is more modern, more today. Bob Martin. Again, I'm not going to tell you anything about him. I want you to try to tell me what his focus is, just based off of what his photography shows you. Bob Martin. Martin. All right, so here's some of his. Yeah, athletics, sports photography. His deal, though, is his shutter speed is off the hook. His lenses that he's using, he is freezing every single drop of water. He's stopping the motion, and that's what he's most known for. That's a really cool angle. That one too. All right. So I know I gave you guys a whole bunch of photographers to look through. What you guys are going to do, I want you to pick one of the photographers that I talked about today. You're going to have to do research. You're going to have to go more in depth than I went. You're going to have to use the Google machine and tell a story about them and their work. All right, this will be due next week, not on Monday, but next week. You're going to start it now. You're going to research now. Each of your slides should either be photos or text. Again, fully telling a story. I do not want any incomplete sentences. When you write, you're going to write in a paragraph form. You're going to explain how they grew up, what was their style, and what are they most known for. Okay, and you're going to download images and use them, examples of their photography. You only have to choose one. You're going to have a 20 minimum slide Google slide presentation. 20. Should be a cover photo, cover slide, and then the rest is all about your person. Again, if you use one of their photos, that can be an entire slide all by itself. But you have to go over their life and their career in 20 minimum slides. Okay? Any questions? All right, cool. Let's get to it.